Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and it's time for our next Saturday with Stacy YouTube class number 313. I'm gonna be really honest. I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. I'm gonna talk about a few differences on some things and show you the wonderful product, the newest collection of Simply Defined for September, but I am gonna try and keep this a little shorter than my hour and a half that I normally do, my full-length feature, so to speak. I do have Winner Chicken Dinner to tell you about, and that is from the last two YouTubes. So I have 4 Winner Chicken Dinners to talk about. But first, let's just get in the elephant in the room out of the way, Mr. SMS. For those of you who follow me on Facebook, you have an idea of what's going on. And for those of you who only watch me on YouTube or follow me on YouTube, you might not. And Mr. SMS went in for his heart surgery, his open heart surgery last Thursday, and things went swimmingly. He sailed through that surgery just fine and was in the ICU, which is where all open heart surgery patients go. And about 24 hours later, unfortunately, he suffered a stroke. A pretty good sized stroke. It wasn't massive, but it wasn't minor either. And the stroke was on the right side of his brain, and it affects his left side of the body. Unfortunately, Michael is a lefty. Gosh. So it has been several days of ups and downs. There was on one day, Saturday, that I didn't know if he was gonna make it or not. And Friday was quite frightening when here we thought that he sailed through the surgery. The first 24 hours looked great. And then they called a code stroke on him, which honestly, it's just like you see in Grey's Anatomy. Truly, they call a code, and before you know it, doctors and nurses are in the room from everywhere. They escort you out of that room. They throw everything on the bed, and then off he went, all in like 60 seconds. I mean, I didn't even have time to catch my breath before he was gone. So then I had a minor panic attack. I'm owning that. I absolutely had a minor panic attack when he was gone and the room was quiet and it was just me sitting there. But then they came back, and unfortunately, because he just had open heart surgery, and man, his incision's like 12 inches long. I keep thinking, what kind of tattoo? Because we don't do tattoos, but man, maybe we can do some, well, it would be a girly tattoo. I don't think he'd like that very much. Maybe I could just sit there with Tombow markers and draw, and then when I didn't like it anymore, wipe it off. But anyway, I digress. So, so he had open heart surgery and then the stroke, which was a complication of the heart surgery. Michael was not a high risk for stroke, but it happened because of the surgery. And unfortunately, as the doctors told me, the best they could do at the time was a CAT scan. And the reason being is that because of the open heart surgery, there were lines, trace wires in going to his heart to monitor his heart after the open heart surgery. And so you can have those wires in if you're doing a CT scan, but not if you're doing an MRI. And an MRI is really what's needed to see how big the stroke is, what kind of stroke it is, where it's affected. So the doctors told me, unfortunately, they can't really treat the head and the heart at the same time, because to treat the head for the stroke, they would want to give him blood thinners. And of course, you can't give blood thinners to a guy who just got out of surgery for open heart surgery. So they had to make a choice whether to treat the head or the heart. And of course, the heart comes first. So the stroke has had to take kind of a back seat to him getting better from the heart surgery. Now, well, I lose track of days, but I don't know if it was, I don't remember. 3 days later, 4 days later, they were finally able, so it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday, I don't even remember anymore. They were able to take, no, it was later than that, maybe Wednesday. they were able to take the trace wires out and send him down for an MRI, where it did indeed confirm a stroke. And it is he's left side negligent, I think is what they keep calling it, left side negligent, which means it's affected his arm and his leg, and can't walk right now. It affected his swallowing. He had to learn to re-swallow. So they are still, in fact, he still is not on anywhere near a normal diet. He's not quite pureed food. He's a little bit better than pureed, but not much better. Let me tell you, I had to pick his food. Apparently pureed turkey meatloaf is no good. So he said if he's going to eat it, I'm going to have to eat it. So he's working his way up with his swallowing to get into a better diet, which will give him more nutrients. He's learning to roll over. They have him sitting up. Of course, they've got assistance because he needs to find center. His brain doesn't understand the left anymore. It doesn't think it's there. So when he sits up, he goes like that. So we have to straighten him up, and he goes like that. So they have exercises where he goes back and forth, trying so he can relearn what center is, just like relearning what swallowing was. And he'll need to relearn probably how to write. He's going to have to relearn how to walk and a few other things. But we're going to get there. We are going to get there. And between Michael and I, there's just no stopping us. Absolutely. This is not what we had anticipated. This is not what we had expected. And, but it is what we have now. So he is going to be at the hospital for quite some time, and then he'll be going to an inpatient acute rehab center for quite some time. So in and out is what it's going to be here for me at the shop, and I'm going to try and keep up with everything. I think what I'm going to have to learn more than anything else, besides grace, not just for everybody around me, but for myself, is I'm going to have to learn time management. Time management with an hour-and-a-half YouTube. So I'm going to have to, there's nothing more important besides Michael and rebuilding our home right now. I need a place to take him home. And so we've stopped fighting with the insurance company. I just don't have it in me right now. I need to give all my energy to my family and my boys and my husband. And so the insurance company, they did wrong. They know they did wrong, and I know they did wrong. And that's where it's just going to have to stay, because I can't fight them and then also be there with full focus for what's really important, and that's my family. But that house needs to get done as quickly as possible now, because I need a place to take Michael home to when he's ready to come home. And so we're working towards that as well, which means time management, figuring out, okay, I have to be at the house to do certain things for a couple hours every day to monitor and keep track and push and keep doing what I need to be doing, because we're an owner builder. But then I have to be here at the shop several hours a day because we have a business that has to run, and Scrapbooking Made Simple is the sole support for my family. It's the sole support for a lot of my employees' families, and I have a commitment to those employees to make sure that they have a paycheck every single week, and I am not going to let them down. I'm not. So I've got to just figure out the time management issues, and then of course being with Michael as much as I possibly can to make sure that he is getting the best care he possibly can. So we're hanging in there. Like I said, this isn't what I had anticipated, and I'm not questioning God as to why this has happened. I'm trying to learn the lesson he's supposed to be teaching me with this, as I'm sure there must be a lesson in there somewhere. And maybe that lesson is, Stacy, you need to, one, let others help, because I have to have other people help me right now. I cannot take my kids to school, and I mean, there's a whole carpool taking my kids to school every day. They go to 2 different schools on 2 different schedules. Oh my goodness gracious. I've got other people ready to teach my kids how to drive. Big hugs. That means I don't have to do it. Wahoo! And just a whole team of friends and family who are trying to make sure that the balls that I'm juggling don't all land on the floor. I was going to do this without crying. Truly, I was. But that man is my heart. He's more than my heart. and he's just got to get better. There's just no other option. I am a driven person. I am a motivated person. We collectively will will this to happen. We have to will this to happen. We have to make it happen. Your thoughts and your prayers mean so much to me. I can't thank you enough for all of them. I will do my best to keep you updated. They say it's going to be a very, very long road for him to recover. They're not there. Now it may come faster. His brain, those little neutrons may snap this together and it may happen much faster, but I think that they want me to be prepared that it's going to be a long road. And we're still trying to find out what our insurance covers and what our insurance doesn't cover. And we're just going to play it by ear from there. So we're just everyday middle of the road people. So the medical insurance company is just going to have to work with us because I can't give them what I don't have. So anyway, all right, those are my woes for today. But the blessing is that he opened his eyes, and the blessing is that he can talk and he can smile and he can laugh, and that Michael that I know is still there. He's still a smarty pants. and I love what's inside of him, and that's the most important thing. That's what makes a person, not the outside but the inside. And when I look at him, my heart just pitter-patters all over again. He looked at me and he said, I have bum genetics. And I said, well, dude, those genetics are what gave you those blue eyes that made me fall in love with you the minute I saw you. So we're just going to get through. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, today is the next collection of Simply Defined. It's the September release. I have Winter Chicken Dinner to talk about. And I'm going to keep it simple, like I said. There's been a lot of questions, a lot of confusion over colored pencils versus watercolor pencils. So I'm going to do a really brief explanation about that, and then show you the samples and show you the product, and then call it a day so I can get back to where I need to be, which is by his side. Cheering him on and making him use his left side. I'm the whooshka woman. The PT, the physical therapy people love me because I'm like, his sister's down here, and she's like, really, she's just sweet as can be. She's a doll. She's sweet and sensitive and caring and thoughtful. And I'm the, dude, come on, give me one more. Come on, you're not done yet. You can do one more. And she's like, well, maybe he's tired. I know he's tired, but let's try one more. So he's got the best of both worlds. He's got me, who's like, come on, chop, 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 we're gonna do this. And his sister's like, let me rub your feet. How could you ask for anything better than that? All right, are we ready? I think so. We're gonna talk about Winter Chicken Dinner. I've got from YouTube number, I think it was 311. So that was the Penny Black Stickaroos and the photo play cards. I'm going to announce all the winners first. And we have Tracy Olia. Tracy Olia. Hello, Tracy. Is that you? If that is you, wahoo kachoo, you indeed are a Winter Chicken Dinner. Congratulations for you. Our second winner from that same YouTube, which was the Penny Black and the photo play, is Amber Doll. Hello, Amber, is that you? Because if it is, you too are a Winter Chicken Dinner. And then from last week's YouTube, which was the Inky Antics, the stamp, the box, the stamp that did the box. It was so cute, and the little stamps to go on top of it to decorate. I've got Anita Willett. Anita, is this you? Congratulations if it is Anita. You're a Winter Chicken Dinner. There you go, Anita. And our last winner is Betty Belvins. Hello, Betty. There you go. Congratulations to you too, Betty. Now, for all 4 of you, you're a winner. Chicken dinner. You're a winner. Chicken dinner. Wahoo. Ka-choo. For you. Feels so good to be sitting here right now. This is just a little bit of normal that I needed so desperately in a world of, oh my, right now. And my boys are doing fine, just in case. I don't know if I said that. My boys are doing okay. They're resilient and strong and brave and hopeful and caring and thoughtful and considerate. And yes, they're still teenagers. Who would have thunk? It's so amazing because they drive me crazy sometimes. Being that they're teenagers, they're not quite adults, but they're not boys. So they think they're men, but the frontal lobe has still yet to be developed. They say maybe 26 all this will happen for my boys. But every now and then you see this glimpse of what they're going to be. And your heart is so proud of them. Because you know that one day they are good human beings, and they're going to be responsible and productive adults, and they're going to contribute to society. And you can just see it. It's right there. It's just around the corner. So, and their dad needs to see that too. Okay, so I'm going to tilt on down. I'm going to show you the samples that we've got going for the free in-store make and take this week. And then we're going to talk a little bit about watercolor pencils versus colored pencils. And then I'm going to show you all the stunning, stunning samples. And we're going to call it a day for today. And I really appreciate you understanding that I have to go. Oh my. You know, it just comes out of nowhere sometimes. You're doing just fine. And then, woo. I will be really honest. I have never missed my mom more than I miss her right now. But I know she's looking down on him too. So that's good. Okay. Okay. We're going to get started. I hope you're still with me and you didn't click me off because I'm a crybaby. Oh well, I cry at Folgers Crystals commercials, so. Okay, down we go. All right, down we go. Let me pull this over. I think you're going to love this collection. I love this collection. Bye, everybody. All right, so I'm gonna zoom on in, down, oh, I got my little straps from my shirt are hanging out, and maybe we can go in just a little bit more. How's that? Let's try that. So this is the free make and take going on downstairs, and this is the next collection of Simply Defined. It is a stamp and die set that gives you 2 edges. You have an edge to do here, a die to do here, a die to do there, and then if you put them together, it'll cut the whole thing out. This is directly on a card front, and we have colored it in with watercolor pencils. Now, okay, there's this one, and then they did it in this color. So if you are anywhere in Southern California on a Saturday, so last week it was not me, I was gone. I'm not sure if it's gonna be me tomorrow morning or not, but you can come spend Saturday till about 1 o'clock with us, and we do a free in-store make and take. And then we generally run out of stuff to do it with, but we start around 9:30 until about 1:30. Super cute, right? And you'll be able to learn how to stamp and die cut and color, because you're gonna be doing it all. So they did all of these samples so that when you get here, you can do any one of them that you want, and you'll be able to color it any way that you want. But we wanted to show you just how quick and easy you could make 4 cards and get them out for Thanksgiving. And yes, this product will ship in ample time for that. No problem. Alrighty. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to grab that set really quick, because all the sets this month are built the same way. where you have a stamp. Let me turn it this way. Where you have a stamp set. And then you have some dies to go with it. So if I get some white paper and I show you, there's my stamp set. There's my, in fact, I can even take the stamp off and that'll work too. There's my stamp set. There's my stamp. And then I have a die that's going to fit each side. Nope, not that side. Yep, this one goes this way. And this one goes this way. So that depending on what you want to do with it, if you just wanted to use this die here on this side, you would ultimately cut this piece of paper off and you would have the edge that I showed you earlier. But if you wanted to use this die with it, well, then you'd have a different edge. You'd be on the other side. That would allow you to have a different looking card. And if you put them together, you would then cut the entire stamp out. So I really tried with this time to make sure that everything gives you a full cut without any fussy cutting needed. And I think I was able to accomplish that. On top of that, I was able to add in some really nice sentiments. So, you know, here you've got Happy Thanksgiving and Fall Blessings. So you can use them any way you want, but they're nice size, the sentiments. So the whole collection is built this way, where you can either just use the stamp, you can use the stamp with one die to get an edge on one side, you can use the stamp with another die to get a different edge on the other side, or you can use the stamp with both to cut out the entire piece, giving you the most options for the least amount of money, honestly. And the dies and stamps are made for a true A2 card. So they're made for it. Now you can do bigger than an A2 card, absolutely, because they fill up an entire A2 card. I mean, that's an A2 card. I could have easily put this on a 5x7 card and had more matting around it. It is a big stamp. They all are big stamps, giving you or a big full die cut, giving you the opportunity to layer and make a A2 card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, or an A6 card, which is a 4 by 6, or a 5 by 7 card. It's really up to you. You have opportunity with these. So I'm going to put those aside for just a minute, and then we're going to bring over, I'm going to keep this one kind of close by. We're going to bring over some watercolor pencils and some colored pencils. All right, I've got Nouveau watercolor pencils here. I've also got Tombow colored pencils here. There is a world of difference between a colored pencil and a watercolor pencil, and I want to show you the difference because we've used colored pencils a lot and we've used watercolor pencils, but folks are a little confused about what these do and what these do, and it is a dramatic difference. So if I start with a colored pencil, and let's just get a red, and I start with a watercolor pencil, and let's just get a red. That way we are watercolor pencils. This has the white, a colored pencil is solid. That's how you know the difference that I'm using. So if I take them and I color, you might say to yourself, Stacy, those look very, very similar. Slight different color in red, absolutely, but the look of it looks very similar. It kind of looks like you colored with a crayon. And That's where we start, but that's not where these end. This is just the beginning. Now with a colored pencil, it is a wax-based product. Wax-based product, which means that if I were to take it and use it with water, nothing's gonna happen. This is a colored pencil with water. Not so good, right? Not so good. Colored pencils are meant to be used with something called Gamsol or mineral spirits. This is a liquid that takes the wax in the wax-based pencil and melts that wax to give you a very, very smooth finish. So you've seen this before. You've seen me take Gamsol, put it right on my little dauber. Well, this is a stub that you get with your Gamsol kit. I got a little orange on there, but that's okay. And blend. Now that is a totally different look than trying to use a colored pencil with water or just a colored pencil by itself. The minute you introduce that Gamsol and a stub, and it needs to be a paper stub. This is a compressed paper that is hard to bend and very porous, and it picks up that Gamsol really nicely. And then it lets you move that that colored pencil, and you have to apply pressure. Can you hear that I'm applying pressure? You can't do it with a paintbrush. Put some Gamsol on my paintbrush. First off, you don't want to waste your Gamsol, so you want to make sure. But then you go in and you try to do it with a paintbrush. Okay, I'm adding my Gamsol, but it's not doing anything because I don't have the pressure to take that wax and move it and soften it. But the minute I add the stub, let's see if I can get it to go. The minute I add the stub, so much better. It still needs a little work, but not bad. The idea is to use the stub. So let's go ahead, and this is my colored pencil. And poof, just like that. I've softened it up and made it look like paint, which is dramatically different than taking a watercolor pencil, which is what I did here, watercolor pencil, and trying to use Gamsol with it. So what happens then is it never quite blends out. Can you see that it never quite blends out? This is with Gamsol. Now with Gamsol on a colored pencil, blended out, beautiful. But here, not so much. A watercolor pencil means we need to add water. That does not mean you take your watercolor pencil and dip it in water. In fact, watercolor pencils need to be kept as dry as you can keep them. So you use a paintbrush and you get that paintbrush wet. And then you take and add that paintbrush to your watercolor pencil, and look at what happens. It makes it literally into a paint. Can't do that with Gamsol. Gamsol doesn't let it move, and it doesn't dissolve the color all the way. watercolor pencil moves this and makes this into a paint. They are dramatically different products. They're both pencils, I understand that, but dramatically different products. Let me get my baby wipe and wipe this off. So if I were to take, let's say, a yellow and an orange colored pencil along with my red colored pencil, and I was to put some red here and then some orange here and then some yellow here, with the thought of blending. Now if I tried to blend it with water, won't do anything because it's colored pencil and it's waxy. But if I go in with one of my stubs and I kind of blend the orange and the red together, then I need to change the stub, or I need to sand off and make a new color. I don't want to take this color and mix it into my yellow. I want to get a different, I either want to sand it off with the sander that comes with it, sand my stub off because all it is paper, to where that red is gone, and I can start with some new Gamsol and grab that yellow and take that yellow into the orange, trying to make kind of a blend. Colored pencils kind of blend that way and kind of not. Is it the best blend ever? Meh, meh. But when you use your, watercolor pencils, let's take a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow. And let's grab my paintbrush and let's go ahead and, can you see that red moving? And I'm going to pull that red down, and I'm going to get it wet, and then I'm going to grab that yellow, and I'm going to move that yellow, and I can start to blend them. Better yet, I can take my red and my yellow and leave no space between them and have that yellow go right into that red. Can you see that my yellow is colored right into my red? Because I want to eliminate that demarcation line. And then I have totally eliminated a demarcation line. No more, no straight line across. I can blend this and 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 work it down and keep it going. So there's definitely differences between them. The colored pencils don't really give you, when you're playing with the Gamsol, an enormous opportunity to blend, blend, blend. This is more of a melt than a blend. Not so much of a blend, whereas my watercolor pencils color, 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 color. I could even take some of the orange if I wanted to and put that into the yellow, and take some of my red and put that into the orange. And I could even come back with some of my yellow on the top and put that into my red. And let's grab a flat brush this time. Get it wet. And go in there and make paint. Big difference. But how does this apply to you? How do you know which one you like better? Well, that's where playing comes in, and thankfully both types of pencils are relatively inexpensive. I'm going to go ahead and bring over a piece of paper, and I'm going to stamp. So I'm going to take the stamp that we used for the make and take, and I'm going to put it on a block. Which is just a piece of acrylic. And I'm going to ink it up with my Memento because I'm going to be using Gamsol or water, and I don't want that ink to smear. I want it to stay just where it is. So your two best choices are either Memento ink because it does not move, or Hero Arts Hero Hues India ink. I'm looking for my India ink. I don't see it. Okay, so I've got my stamped image ready to go. I have my choice now. I can either lay my paper straight on top because this is a slightly bigger stamp. So I can lay my paper straight on top and give a nice back rub. Fingers are, do you see how my fingers are flat? They're not up like this and they're not pointy like that. They're literally flat on the stamp. Just giving a really nice back rub. And there's my image. Or I could ink it up. Woo. And I could stamp traditionally and take my stamp and go from my stamp to my paper, which is on top of a gush pad. Gush pad is important when you're stamping. It allows you to make better contact with your paper. If you're stamping directly onto a hard surface, there's nothing for that stamp to sink into making better contact with your paper. Let's see how I did. Oh, not bad. I got a few little holes where I missed a press. Or there's one more option. If you have a craft mat like mine, or Tim's, or whoever craft mat you've got, a clear stamp is going to cling right to that craft mat and it's not going to move. Can you see it not moving? I mean, I'm literally, oh, now I've got ink all over me. Okay, well, if you don't get a little inky, it wasn't any fun. Let me wipe that off. Okay, so my stamp is just stuck. It'll peel right off, but it's clinging to my craft mat. I could, if I wanted to, ink it up straight onto my craft mat because you know it's not gonna move, so you don't have to worry about it going eat all over the place. Make sure it's inked up well because it's a big stamp. Let's bring over a piece of paper and same thing. So if you don't have a block, no worries. Look at that. Nice flat press all over. and bam, done. So you have options when you're stamping. If you don't have block sets yet, that's okay. It's not the end of your crafting experience. It's not the end of you stamping. Work around it. Find a way, like using a craft mat, to make it happen. You're going to get a beautiful result, even if you don't have the tool that is necessarily made to do the same thing. There are lots of ways of getting a job done. You just have to figure out the way that's going to work for you and what's in your crafting arsenal, what you've got available to you at that time. Now, I've got that all stamped, and now it's a matter of, do I want to color with my colored pencils, my Tombow colored pencils, or do I want to use my watercolors? And I'm going to use both, so you can see the difference. All right, let's start with my my pumpkin. Okay, let's start with my pumpkin, and this is my colored pencil. I'm going to go in here, and with my colored pencil, I'm just going to add some of this color on the very edge of my pumpkin. I'm going to kind of color him in just a little bit, but I'm going to leave a ton of negative space. And when I say negative space, I mean white. Look at that. Look at how much white space I left behind. Now I'm going to grab my little stub, my Gamsol, get some Gamsol on my stub, and you can see that it's got that dark color to it. That means it's wet. Do not stick your stub all the way into Gamsol, and if you do not have this little cute bottle that Inky Antic sells with the nice little foamy, put the Gamsol or the mineral spirits you currently own in, I don't know, a cup from for nail polish or from Baja Fresh. Buy something first, don't just take their cup, and save it, and then put some cotton into your cup, and then put some of your Gamsol so you can dip in. The minute your stubby has Gamsol on it, once it starts to absorb up, you're never going to get it out. But now, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit tighter. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to pull this color out using that Gamsol. And with that negative space, it allows me to have kind of a highlight and a shadow. I'm pulling that color up, and I'm not being overly nice about it. I'm just kind of swirling and going in circles and grabbing that color and pulling it down so that I've got a little bit of shading, a little bit of shadow, all at the same time. And look at there. So I've got dark around the edges, a little bit lighter, almost to a white, as if the light was coming down on it. And the nice thing about colored pencils is that you don't have to wait for this to dry. I could go back and add more orange around the outside, a little bit more. Added a little bit more orange, and then just very, very gently soften it out to give that pumpkin even more dimension. Okay, easy to do. I could go in with my green and add a little bit of green onto the side, because you always need negative space. You always need that white space. Put a little Gamsol on my stubby and just pull that green out a little bit and color that little stem in. And done. Again, darker to light. But if I wanted to use my watercolor pencils, well, that's going to give me a slightly different look. So here, I'm going to put a little bit of watercolor pencil there, and a little bit there, and maybe just a little bit here, and a little bit here. Very little. So right now, that's all the watercolor pencil I'm going to use. That's different than here I colored all the way around and pulled in. Watercolor pencil, you want to be very sparing with, because you're going to turn it into, oh, there we go. Wow, that blurred. You're going to turn it into a paint. You also want to get used to touching the brush. So taking water off. The more water you take off as you're doing it, the lighter your watercolor pencil is going to become. So if I go in here and I start to pull that out a little bit, and then I come in here and I pull that out a little bit, and then I come in here and I pull that out a little bit more water, because I've been pulling. As I've been pulling water out, I can add a little more color in this one, and I put some there, and some there, and some there, and some there. Oh, a little more water. Be good if I got some on there. And make my paint there, and make my paint there, and make my paint here. And I can just go in and start to paint. Now, the nice thing about a watercolor pencil is that if you have space, you can also do what's called palette painting. You can come over here and put that watercolor pencil right there on the edge. Take your paintbrush, pull that color in. Oh, Stacy, I'm using the wrong pencil. Holy smokes, artichokes. Well, that would explain why it's not blending. Look at that, it's not blending. All right, let's do it again. It would help if it was the right pencil. Look at that. Can you see why it's not moving? See, it's not moving? Okay, let's do this one and see the difference. Ha, why didn't you all say you're working with the wrong pencil, Stacy? Let's do this one. So no edits. All right. Watercolor pencil. Water. Now let's see the dramatic difference. Oh yeah. And the more you pull, the lighter it will be. So the more I pull off, I can even go in there and dip some more in and gets a little bit more water. The more I pull off, the lighter it will be. Let's do this one. So let's try again. Okay, so watercolor pencil. And let's put a little bit here, and a little bit here, and a little bit there, and a little bit there, and a little bit there. Let's try again. And the beautiful thing is, so far all I've used is paper, white paper that you have. All right, let's give it another whirl, shall we? And let's get it wet. And this time I'm gonna keep my fingers pulling water from it. So I've got it moving there, and then pull a little bit off, and pull it out a little bit further, And let's move it here and pull it off. And let's move it here and then pull some of the water off, just so it lightens as I'm going out. Pull my water off and then keep it moving. And you'll see it takes very little water to make all of this move. And then, so let's get this all done, and then let's go back to palette painting with my watercolor pencil. Okay, so there's my flower. Oh, much better. Whew. But let's say I wanted to add some more depth to that flower. I can't take my watercolor pencil and put it right on top right now. I can't go back in and color on top because it's wet. And what will happen is it will leave a line that you will not be able to blend out. You'll ruin it. Watercolor pencils have to stay as dry could be. But if I have a little space somewhere on a scratch piece of paper, look familiar? See, I'm doing it again. And I want to palette paint. I take a little bit of water. Oh yeah, look at that. Then I can come in and I can add the dimension that I want to. Oh, that's really loaded. Add the dimension that I want. I can just pick up a little bit of paint up here and go in and touch up any place I wanted it a little bit darker and I didn't get it. It's called palette painting with your watercolor pencils. And it's super easy. And it gives you the opportunity to then keep painting with your pencil without having to wait for everything to dry. Now I've got even more dimension. So if I wanted to, I could take my yellow here. No, this is a colored pencil, my yellow watercolor pencil, and I could throw some yellow up here. Yellow, 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 yellow. Just in the tips of my flower over here. Yellow, yellow, yellow. And then I could take my red watercolor pencil and just put some right in the center, center, center. See what I've got so far? And then I could get it wet. And I could pull that yellow down first. Start with my yellow. Take my yellow all the way down. And then I could use my red and pull my red not all the way up, because I want it to kind of blend. I want it to make a blend. Can you see how I keep taking the water off my brush? Can you see how I'm taking the water off my brush? The more I use that dry brush, the more of a blend I'm going to get. Now I've got the flower that's yellow and red blended together. Easy to do. Or I can come right back here and redraw my little pumpkin with my colored pencil. So it depends upon what look you're going for. That's going to determine what pencil you use. You want to use the right pencil for the right job. Grab my Gamsol. And pull that orange out because I'm using a colored pencil now. Water will not work. And if I need to shave a little of that orange off because I want to make sure that I don't get too much orange, I want to have that highlight, you just take and shave it. The kit, the Gamsol kit comes with that, the sandpaper, and then when you've used that piece of sandpaper, it has multiple sheets. You just rip it off. Let's see if I can get it. I don't want to rip. Oh, there we go. You just rip it off, and then you've got another sheet to sand away. So I've sanded it down a little bit so that I can pull again and not pull too much orange because I want to have that highlight. So completely different looks and feels. Totally different look and feel. It just depends upon what you like best. I could come in here with the pear green. Oh, let's see, do I have a pear green over here? I do. I could come in here with the pear green on the watercolor pencil. I'm gonna do my little gourd over here, green, and I just broke my pencil. Let's see if I can get it to work anyway. Okay, so let's add some color here. So there's my watercolor pencil. Take my water, use my paintbrush, and change that green into a paint and pull it out. Ta-da! Done. And if I wanted that green to even be darker, I could come in. I can't go on top. Can't take my watercolor pencil and go on top because it's wet. You can do that with a colored pencil because it's wax-based. It doesn't matter if it's wet or not. I can take my waxed pencil and go on top and blend out, but not my watercolor pencil. But I can take my green and put some right here and go in and get it wet, and then palette paint with it. Maybe I want to add a little more green over here, a little darker green. And palette paint it out. I could get it really green. So you don't need to have really, really expensive watercolor pencils or really, really expensive colored pencils. It's nice to be able to have both, but you're going to know which one you're going to rather play with. Now I'll tell you, both the Tombow and the Nouveau are very inexpensive for what they get, the quality that you get. Look at how beautiful. It's just a matter of playing. Colored pencil, watercolor pencil, watercolor pencil. It's just a matter of playing. So again, I know for the umpteenth time, watercolor pencil moves beautifully with water to make a paint. Watercolor pencil does not move beautifully with Gamsol. Colored pencil moves beautifully with Gamsol. Just blend that pencil into a beautiful smooth finish. Colored pencil does not do well with water. Use the right tool for what you're trying to do. And because both of them are inexpensive, even if you have to save for one and then get the other one later, you'll eventually want to have both because they do two different things. Totally different things. But they do not act the same at all. Just because they're called pencils, they do not act the same. They are different. And both results are beautiful. All right, the Tombow pencils, let me back up just a little bit. Tombow pencils, colored pencils, are not the same as watercolor pencils. And I was only using 100-pound paper today, my 100-pound paper. If you were to use a watercolor pencil or a paper with either of them, they're even going to be more magnificent. Absolutely. All right, so hopefully that explains the difference between the two. And now I can show you some samples of the new product. So we've had colored pencils on sale for a while with the Gamsol. So this time I'm going to put the watercolor pencils from Nouveau. There's two sets. I'm going to put both of them on sale, and that way if you already have the colored pencils, this is your opportunity to pick up one or both sets of the watercolor pencils at a great price. Now, Storyboards for this month, for September, simply defined, and I'm going to back up even a little bit more. Storyboards. All right. So first off, we have got our foil plate, simply defined foil plate for this month. And it's Autumn Blessings, and it's called Curling Branches. And it is a cut and foil. So it's going to cut and foil at the same time. But if you don't own a Go Press and Foil machine or any of the foil machines, not a problem. You use this die, you ink it up with your Memento, you roll it through your Sizzix machine, it die cuts everything out, it stamps the image, and then you can go in and you can color it. Absolutely. You do not have to have a foil machine to use this plate. Not at all. Next, we have our sunflower. And see, the sunflower, here it is stamped. Here it is cut with one edge showing. Here it is cut with the other edge showing, because you'll get a die to do each edge. And then if you put the two edges together, the whole piece cuts out. And this is one of the I Want It All dies. Then we have our Rustic Barn House. So again, there's the barn house just stamped, and the die is Hello Fall and Autumn Days. You get both of those. Hello Fall and Autumn Days. These are dies that you can use on anything. Hello Autumn, Fall Days. You can mix and match any way you want. Then you have a die that's going to cut half of it out, so you can use it as an edge. Then you have another die that's going to cut the other side out if you'd rather the edge be on the other side. And then when you put the two dies together, it's going to cut out your entire piece. I think I'm the only one who does dies this way thus far. Then we have our thanks jar. And here's our big mason jar just stamped. And this one you get blessed and thankful and grateful, grateful hearts, and give thank. You get lots of words with this one. Then you've got it with the edge for the mason jar, the other edge for the mason jar, and the entire mason jar cut out, all along with all the dies. Give thanks, gather hearts, blessed, and thankful. All those dies come with the set as well. These are big sets. Then the one that I was using today, so completely stamped, cut on one edge, cut on the other, and together. And you've got stamps so that say Happy Thanksgiving, Fall, and Blessings, and you've got some dies to go with it. Then you've got our cartwheel scene, all stamped together, stamped and cut on one side. Here you've got Bountiful. You've got, I mean, just tons of stuff. Here you've got cut on one edge, cut on the other edge, and then the entire image cut completely out for you. Love this one. Love them all. I love this release. Then you've got our Scarecrow stamped, Scarecrow on one edge, Scarecrow on the other edge. He comes with Happy Thanksgiving, and Scarecrow cut completely out. Is he darling? Oh my gosh, think how fun he would be. And then Elena has put together, just so you can see, one edge on a card base, and this is done directly onto an A2 card base. The other edge. So you can see what can be done. Here we have our jar. So super cute. Our wreath that we were using today. And last but not least, we have our cartwheel and our Scarecrow. Now samples, holy smokes, artichokes. Where to start? Let's start with Sharon first, because the samples are amazing. So here we have Scarecrow completely cut out. Right, darling. And our barn house completely cut out. And our wreath completely cut out. Not used as edge on any of these. And our sunflower. Then we have Belinda. And Belinda too. We've got her Scarecrow. Love, love, love this one. Love, 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 love this. Oh my gosh, I love the next one too. Love, love, love this one. She stamped, embossed, and used it as a resist. Love, love, love that one. Oh my gosh. And here she just took and used part of the sunflower. Belinda. So, as you all know, these are the first time I'm seeing these. She's got a little bee. Belinda, she's so cute. Bless her pea picking heart. I love her. Okay, then we have, let's do Elena. So Elena made a bracelet out of the sunflower. Not exactly sure how to open it. Probably should have asked. Oh, there we go. So she took the die and cut it with the leather, stamped, alcohol inked, and made a bracelet. Right? Pretty cool, huh? That's Elena. Beautiful. And then, oh, look at this one. Oh my gosh, Elena, this is gorgeous. Oh, and of course it stands up. Of course it does. Elena used the foil plate. Only she didn't use it with foil. Look at how beautiful that is. She inked it and put it through mirror paper. You don't have to use the foil plate with foil. It is a cut and foil. Beautiful card. But here, she did use it with foil and on an iridescent paper. So pretty. And then Elena being Elena, she probably went to the dollar store and found a plaque that said that, and then she decorated it, and she popped the little, she cut the little pumpkin out and the flower out a couple times to make her own decoupage. Look at its little picture frame. Is that not the cutest thing ever? And then you turn it onto the back, and it's got the jar on the back side. So this is Elena being a, oh no, she didn't. This is a block. This is a block from, so she this is paper. Okay, this is a block that held a stamp, a wood-mounted stamp. This is a paper she must have found and trimmed it to fit. She did this all from scratch. That's even more impressive. She took an old wood mount block that somebody took the stamp off of and reutilized it. Elena, you are a rock star. And then she did an altered art piece. And you've got the sunflower on the top, and you've got the wagon wheel down here, and you've got the scarecrow here, and then she's filled it all in out of a very inexpensive box. Oh, I don't know if I can open it. And there's, oh, I was gonna say there's no light. There has to be a light. It wouldn't be, oh, there we go. It wouldn't be Elena if there wasn't a light to it. Can you all see? She's got the barn house in there, all lit up. Look at Elena. Is that magnificent? Oh, I aspire to be as creative as she is. Fabulous. And then let's look at what Claire's got for us this week. Oh, so pretty. Look at the jar. And she's cut the entire piece out and she popped it. This is Claire. Very little coloring needed with the jar. And then Claire's got her altered art piece. Beautiful. A little bit of the wreath, a little bit of the sunflower, a little bit of the barn. Everybody loved the barn. The barn was a big hit with the girls. That and the sunflower. And how do I know the barn was a big hit with the girls? Hello. This is Claire. And then this is also Claire. And then Claire did this one straight on a card base. Straight on a card base, stamped and cut, and bam, you're done. Straight onto a card base. Talk about easy peasy. And this one she jazzed up just a little bit. So instead of being so plain, same thing, card base. She took a piece of matting paper and put it on the inside. Same concept, she just used a little more color. This is just ink. This is just watercolor. You can do this. Do you like it this way? Or do you like it this way? Guess what? You have options. You can choose either way. Or you can do both. So that is Claire. And then this is Claire. She got a dollar store pumpkin from literally the dollar store. She stamped. She took the stamp and she rolled the stamp on it and pushed it in. And then she alcohol ink painted it. And then she used the little tag. How cute is this for a dollar store pumpkin? Right? That's Claire. And last but not least, again, Claire made her own little diorama. See? You can see. And it all stands up and it's all 3D. And when you look at it, you've just got this perfect little scene with all the different elements that come in this set. I loved this set. I loved designing this set. This set made my heart happy. And then last but certainly not least, we have Doris. And Doris, I've got a tag where she's used the foil plate, and she has cut and foiled it, and that foil plate cuts at the same time. So, all right, it cuts as you put it through to finish the foiling. It's amazing. Amazing. No more fussy cutting. And here is Doris's Scarecrow. And Doris and her barn. And Doris and her beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mason. She's stamped right on acetate with stays on. Close it up. Open it up. Put the little, well, I won't do that, but put the little ribbon back on to keep it closed. This is Doris and her fall Scarecrow. Colored beautifully, Doris. And her wagon wheel. All right, you guys, what did you think? I hope you liked them. I think that it's one of my favorite collections without question. I love fall. It's it's probably my favorite season, so it makes my heart happy. I hope that I was able to kind of clarify a little bit about colored pencils and watercolor pencils. I'm gonna back this on up. I'm gonna say, don't forget to post a comment so you have a chance to be a winner chicken dinner. And remember, Simply Defined die stamps and hot foil plates are exclusively mine. They're my designs, and you're only going to find them here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. So, where you may be able to find watercolor pencils and colored pencils at your local independent store, and I encourage you to go introduce yourself to them, ask them, do you have watercolored pencils? Do you have colored pencils? Do you have Gamsol? Ask them before you shop online, whether it's with me or any other online retailer. If you're lucky enough to have that independent store, go visit them. With the exception of Simply Defined and Simply Refined product, because that is what you can find only at Scrapbooking Made Simple. So we encourage you to shop local where you can if you've got that store, and then come online. And if you love the Simply Defined product, it's limited. When it's gone, and I can't afford to bring it back. So if you see something you like, get it. And if you miss out on something, put yourself on the notify me list. It's right there for you on the product, on the full description. There's a little box that says notify me, and that way when somebody cancels their order or doesn't pay for their order, it goes back and you get a notification, you and everybody else who's on the notify me list. But you never know when you're going to be the one to, oh, you got it first and you got your order in and you've got it. All right, it's me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple. Scrapbookingmadesimple.com is where you're going to shop online. Thank you so much for your love and your support for Mr. SMS. There's talk of a GoFundMe page. By the time you see this, it might already be up, I guess. So I'm just going to leave it in God's hands, and I'm going to thank you for all of your thoughts and your prayers and your cards and your well wishes, and please keep them coming. He's important to the world. He really is. All right. I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.